I lost a ton of people from overdose. I
Yeah.
like lost a ton of friends. I lost a ton of people that were close to me. And the other thing is like at that time in Southern California, there was like a bunch of like, I was managing a sober living and it was like the Wild West. It was not a good sober living. It was like the owner did not care about people. It was like a shooting gallery where you just have people getting high.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the #1 mental health and addiction podcast, the Hopeaholics. I am your girl, Natalie Eva Marie, and these are my boys.
I'm Chad.
Hi, I'm Shane.
Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and follow us on our socials and wherever you get your podcasts.
Got a new episode dropping every Monday and Thursday. Please come check it out.
This episode is brought to you by the Infinity Group. You guys, if you or a loved one is suffering, please call us today. The number is right here on the screen. We are here for you 24/7. Now, let's get into the episode.
Theo,
Yes.
welcome to the Hopeaholics Podcast, man.
Welcome.
Happy to be here. You guys have great radio voices. And we're really feeling that out with this these headphones, but it's awesome to be here. Yeah, traffic wasn't too bad. You guys have a beautiful spot here. Who designed all your guys' art?
I did.
Lies.
Lies.
A guy named,
Everything in here is me.
a guy named Chuck.
No, it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
cool.
I was like, I want our walls to be like graffiti art, but I want it black and white. And then
And when he says I, he means me.
It's just all you.
That's all it was.
That's awesome. No, it's an impressive building for sure. I was surprised how deep it is because you guys have that like little room in the front, and then you come up the stairs, and it's like, oh my god.
Oh, it's
a
very
city
deceiving
block.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like you pull up and you're like, and then you walk in and it's, ah.
yeah, people have no idea. And you know, behind the walls over there is like 50, 60 people getting treatment.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
there's
Yeah.
people doing groups.
Indoor basketball
That's
court.
awesome.
Indoor basketball
Commercial
court,
gym.
commercial gym.
So is this like outpatient or is this
This is
residential?
outpatient.
Oh, that's awesome.
This is they call it nowadays PHP and IOP level of care,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
which is an outpatient. Those are both outpatient levels of care. But there's also a level of care that the insurance call outpatient, which is the lowest level of care, which is actually just like you go and you meet with a therapist or you go to group once a week.
Got it. Yeah, I went to that a long time ago. I started treatment at just like a residential treatment center, like when I was 17.
17.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I went to treatment I grew up in Seattle, Washington. And I went in Seattle is very different than Southern California. We only had one residential treatment center. It was called Lakeside Malamburian. They shut it down. It was in a forest. It was awful. I tried to catch raccoons and stuff. It was silly. But yeah, very, very different
Yeah.
than what it is over here.
And you were 17 when you went into that facility?
Yeah, I started using when I was 13.
Okay.
And then I, made it, I guess, to treatment willingly.
You advanced.
Yeah, advanced. And I ended up there. It's pretty crazy.
What ended up being your drug of choice at such a young age?
Such a funny thing. Drug of choice is such a fun terminology because it's like, oh man, what choice did you have? But at that time, it was heroin. It was black tar heroin.
Wow.
It was easier to get in Seattle than it was to
At 13?
Yeah. Right after the opioid epidemic.
Yeah.
With essentially with Purdue Pharma and like Oxycontin and everything, I like came right out of that and then was just like I went to school downtown, got introduced to it right away, was on it immediately. So
that was pretty typical. Mm-hmm. I've worked in the treatment industry since 2001, and I have had a lot of people from Seattle, Washington in here, and a lot of them went from the opioid crisis to the pills, straight to black tar heroin because it was cheaper and easier to get, and there was a lot of it up in Seattle.
So much.
Yeah.
And that Nirvana's there. It's like it's totally the culture. It's like in there, and like Oxycontin was like $1 a milligram back in the day, so it was like $80 for an 80 milligram pill, and black tar heroin is $40. It's like, okay, which one are you gonna do?
Yeah.
It's like this gross sludge on foil. It's like, it's raining, it's dark. You're just like, yeah, this makes sense.
Burns going down.
No, I could never live in Seattle. I couldn't.
Fair.
I really couldn't, just merely off of the weather. The weather
it's so pretty. It's so green. The air tastes so good. You got to go right now in the summer. Absolutely beautiful.
For like a week.
For like 2 months, and then it's just like
The worst.
permanent nighttime.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't work for me.
like
I would be,
dreary.
yeah, it's like depressing. Weather does for sure affect my mood, I feel like, because just,
Ugh.
I mean, with all the rain we had this year, she's
She's
all
been really crabby.
yeah, crabby.
Just a crab.
you guys, I have not. I just would complain and say I'm tired of them.
You're fine.
But do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have an older sister. She's awesome. Lives in San Francisco. Got a little nephew.
Addict as
No,
well?
no. They're like, what's your family drug addict?
Yeah.
Laying
I always
it
like
out.
to see, because usually with siblings, it's very hit or miss. Sometimes you can be just the sole one, or sometimes it is just in every single person.
Yeah, no, my family, like, by all means was like really great. Like I didn't have like a bad family dynamic or anything like that. Maybe skipped a generation from my grandpa. He was like a Pennsylvania coal miner.
Okay.
And was like an alcoholic, but like just stopped on his own. It was just a mean guy.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was like, he was just grumpy grandpa. Like
Yeah.
he would growl when he walked. He'd be like, rah. And he was crazy. He'd be like, clean coal is the best coal. And you'd be like, yeah, grandpa, sounds good. Man loved coal.
So you're the lucky one.
Yeah, I think, it definitely, at the time I didn't think I was lucky, but now I definitely do. Like I've done so much in my life now that is so different than, how it started. It's pretty amazing. I got to become like a paramedic, a firefighter. I get to run a nonprofit that's nationwide. So I'm definitely, I would say I'm lucky, even though
It is really amazing how abuse or drug addiction changes the course of your life.
It does.
And in this case, it changed it to a great 30 chapters nationwide.
Yeah, so we have a nonprofit, End Overdose. We focus on, preventing drug overdose, training and education. We do it a little bit differently. Like our strategy is very based on embedding into the culture of essentially drug use, recreational drug use. And we, in the last 2 years, we've trained 500,000 people. We've distributed over 250,000 doses of Naloxone. We have 30 chapters nationwide, and then we had applications for this cycle from 144.
Damn.
But we couldn't accept them all because it's way too expensive. So we are choosing 20 of those right now. So we'll have 50, maybe 60.
So how do you attack the community? What's your strategy? Do you go talk to schools at kids at schools?
Yeah, so we actually do it a little bit different. Like we focus on attraction rather than promotion, right? So like we're not out there like trying to like tell people what to do. But what we have is we'll do a ton of different like music festivals, things like that. So like right now we're partnered with AG, which is Golden Voice, Live Nation, Insomniac. Insomniac promotes all their different festivals. Pasquale Rotella, their CEO, is amazing. He supported us a ton. He allows us to have a 20 by 20 or 10 by 10 like booth at a festival, and then we do training. And we do a ton of media collaborations with every type of artist from every type of music genre. So
Wow.
and the same type of content.
That's awesome,
we do.
bro.
Yeah.
That is awesome. We'd love to get involved in stuff like this. We love outreach.
Yeah, outreach
Yeah.
is huge.
I want to back it up though.
Yeah.
In the
Okay.
sense of like, because we're jumping right into
Well.
yeah. Like how did
Because I
you
drank this rain energy drink.
There you go.
Am I not?
There you go.
Yeah.
It's the only one we're allowed to have on set.
That's right. How did you get to California? And was your first time in treatment at 17? You were sober since, or did you have a little bit of relapses before you have your sobriety now?
No, it was, how did I get there? It was like a real mess, right?
Yeah.
What I thought I was choosing to do, I was just completely out of control and couldn't navigate through there. And eventually what happened is things outside of my control, I made decisions I didn't even really get to a chance to choose them, put me in treatment. Like I had to go. There was no exception. I had to be there. And as a minor, you can't leave. You can't just be like,
Yeah.
make my own decisions. You're not an adult. And absolutely didn't stay sober at all. What happened there is I was introduced with the idea that I was different than like a recreational drug user or even a heavy drug user, because the difference about me is just like once I take something, I may end up in Atlanta, Georgia. It's like what I do next is a roll of the dice. It's like Russian roulette. And, once I got out of there, I was still in the same situation with the same people doing the same things. And I went right back to it. And then it was like the same cycle. I ended up in Texas. The only reason I came to California is because I was looking at like a little like pamphlet for sober living. And I went to Pasadena because I thought it was in a forest. I thought that it had trees. 'Cause treatment centers will be like, look at this. It was a guy stacking rocks. I was like, I'm going there. It was not a forest. It's like shit.
Concrete jungle.
Yeah, it was a concrete jungle. Man. So yeah, it was really by circumstance.
Really? And then, so your treatment in Pasadena is what made you end up staying out in California?
No, not at all. I actually got kicked out of that treatment center and then was sleeping on Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena. And I had just a moment of clarity. I had a really good friend that really cared about me a lot that used to just cart me to AA meetings. And I hadn't had a connection where someone actually cared about me that much. That's why I really believe in like community is so necessary for your recovery, because if you don't have someone believing in you, or you don't have those people that are, you know, trying to help you, it's really hard to do it by yourself. It's like almost impossible. Some people do it, but like if you're really like, if you have the ism, like it's going to be tough. And, you know, it was through those relationships that I was like, I'm staying here. And a huge community built around me. So
How old were you then?
19.
Okay. And then that's when you decided, like at 19, moment of clarity, these friends that you had that were sober as well, cared about you. That's when you were like, okay, I'm doing this.
Yeah, that's it. I was like, I'm just going to lock in on this. There's, you know, it wasn't like a fun ride up until that point. It was like a crash and burn. I really didn't have anything left. So
that's usually how it happens.
It was like nothing or this. I was like, all right. Well, shit.
Yeah.
Like, what option do you have then? It's like, all right. Well.
And so have you been sober since 19?
Yeah.
Damn.
So I'll have 14 years.
Wow.
September 26th.
That's amazing.
The most in the room.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, it's
The most in the room.
That's pretty incredible.
I got more than you today, Shane. No, I'm just kidding. I woke up at 6. I slept in.
yeah, man. It's daily or pre.
That's-
I was
that's
at,
how it- that's
I was
how-
at Patuta. The fire alarm was going off.
I like that you said the ism, because it just always reminds me of my early days of recovery. You know, my early days of recovery go all the way back to December of 1996.
Ooh, great year.
Yeah. And the ism, I'd be in meetings and they would say that, right? And then they would always follow it up with I, self, me. You know, people don't realize how into self our disease makes us. You know, and it's all we think about. I mean, it's pretty much all everybody thinks about, right? Most people aren't out and about in the world thinking about helping others, but so we get this recovery thing, right? And then now we get to start doing the internal work, and then looking outside of ourselves and helping others. That's how we recover.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's tons of different paths, right? Like initially, like I was just like a big book thumper. I was just like a demon.
Sure.
And like there's tons of different ways, like, you know, the AA way and like the NA way, CA way is like actually super hard. I don't like claim to that. But, you know, essentially looking within you, like, you know, talking about your ego, looking at yourself, like all these things, like obviously if you focus on other people and like have trust and like do things for others, you're going to build a community around you because people like you, as opposed to you just being like something take scoop off the ground. Just like, I don't know, like, you know, Colorado Boulevard Theo, you'd just be like, I didn't even like me.
Yeah.
So like, why the fuck would anyone like me, right?
For sure.
So, but it's interesting, right? Like, I think now there's more opportunity to like recover in like different ways because there's treatment. Like, there's more focus on mental health. Like, the facility that you guys have here is massive. It's like, that's awesome. It's all right. Here's a building dedicated to others. It's like, okay, that's good, right? We need more of that. We need more buildings dedicated to others. We need more people dedicated to others. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. Yeah.
Shane usually says
40,000 square feet.
It's not 40,000.
300,000 square feet.
Yeah, I was going to say that Shane usually says 80,000 square feet of
Not
pure
yet.
love.
Soon.
But it is It is 32,000 square feet.
Let's call it 35.
Let's not.
It's
Let's
close.
call it 28.
No, y'all just round out.
He rarely rounds up.
Round out.
32,000 square feet. But it's an incredible building that we built here. It was a warehouse. The part that it was a warehouse is a full indoor basketball court and a commercial gym.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We love a commercial gym. Is that why everyone's so fit? Everyone
We
gets
got a
full
commercial
lift
kitchen here. Everything, man. We got everything.
Well, you know what? Before
everything.
every podcast, Shane goes down and does
I do
he
all
goes down and he does some reps so that he looks more pumped.
Nice.
Because he
Very
wants to
full.
flex for the camera.
What I do.
Yeah.
You got no choice.
Yeah.
Got to hang on. I'm just
When did you start your nonprofit? And how long have you been firefighting?
I've been firefighting for like 5.5 years.
Okay.
And then I started a nonprofit in like 2018, 2017.
And what made you want to start that? I mean, obviously, I can kind of assume, but for people that don't know you.
It was actually during that time, it was a few things. I lost a ton of people from overdose. I like lost a ton of friends. I lost a ton of people that were close to me. And the other thing is like at that time in Southern California, there was like a bunch of like, I was managing a sober living and it was like the Wild West. It was not a good sober living. It was like the owner did not care about people. It was like a shooting gallery where you just have people getting high. It was wild. And my roommate OD'd and my roommate died and nobody knew that he had overdosed. And then it was like, it wasn't like the overdose crisis that we're having now. It was still very much a crisis, but it was not talked about as much. It was still off the tail end of like Purdue Pharma. But what had happened with him is that he had overdosed or he had gotten high on Xanax. They were kicking him out and then he was waiting to leave. So he was like staying in his room and he took like bad Xanax and then OD'd in his bed. And people were walking by him the whole day. I was like at work. And not
No
paying attention.
way.
And so when I came back, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy, right? Like, and like the police didn't handle it well. They like they called his dad and just said, there's something wrong with your son. They didn't tell him what happened or anything. You need to come here right now. And so the dad, not knowing what had happened, walked into the room and like saw his son dead. It was like, that's crazy. That's not how you're supposed to handle that.
Oh my
And
God.
so for me, I was like, okay, there needs to be education that happens in treatment centers because in Southern California, so many people come here. During that time, it was like there's like 3,000 residential treatment centers. You have like a census of like 30 to 60, depending on where you are. It's about 250,000 people come to Southern California for treatment. And 80% of them, their drug of choice is an opioid, right? And most of them at that time didn't train on overdose prevention or have naloxone. It just wasn't a thing. Like now it's relatively more frequent. People do it. They actually care. They make sure they have it, all that good stuff. But at the time it was like not happening. And naloxone was like $150 a box. So it's like, it's not really like if you don't need to do it,
Sure.
like you may not be financially incentivized to do it. So we really focused on going to treatment centers and just giving it to them for free, training all their clients, coming up with risk management plans, overdose prevention, everything like that. And it evolved into working heavily in Los Angeles nightlife and underground scenes, like just like wild parties and all these places, like random warehouses that you would never see, and then just kind of like built off from there.
Wow. So that kind of, it was really the, I guess, driving catalyst into you wanting to do the nonprofit and really continue I like what you said about attraction rather than promotion. I feel like anybody, whether you're young or, I don't want to say old, but not kids, is really difficult to tell someone what to do because the vast majority will basically say, fuck off, rather than them being educated and then seeing the good things that are happening in other people's lives. You disagree?
I was thinking this along the same lines that I was thinking more the friends of the users are going to be very open to this. And I was going to ask that next question, who's his biggest person? I was thinking the friends of the users at these parties are going to say, yeah, I need a box for my buddy. He's using these drugs. So I think that's a great angle.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on like who you're communicating to. Like a lot of organizations in our space miss because you're trying to tell somebody that's actively using that doesn't think that they have a problem, and they may not. You can use drugs and not be an addict.
Yeah.
There's a ton of people that just do cocaine in college and they're like, yeah, dude, that was sick.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Not my experience, right?
Yeah.
But like where you miss is that person that's using, if you're like, hey man, drugs are bad, they'll kill you, and they like smoke weed and they don't have a bad experience, now you're just like a liar.
Yeah.
And they're just like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not true, right? And so it's like, okay, man, like how do we communicate to you? And then on the flip side, obviously the friends around, like they're like, hey man, that dude probably, they're not testing their shit. You should probably have some drug tests and like know what the signs are in case something goes wrong, because you're the person that's like, going to be responsible. But those are two different communication strategies. And then somebody that's like doing cocaine, like you can't communicate to them the same way that like someone doing black tar heroin is. Like that's two different conversations. You can't walk into a school and be like, what's up, kids? They're like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, I was just in math class. This is crazy. I'm not doing that. It's like, okay, we gotta tailor this a bit.
So has that just been a process of you guys basically being boots on the ground and kind of taking it in stride and having those types of conversations? Or how have you been able to kind of decipher in which route you're going to kind of gravitate towards?
It's just kind of the one that for us, like obviously we do a ton of conversations. Like we recently got a couple grants from small grants from the CDC, and we did a bunch of like school research. Like we partnered with LAUSD and we trained they have like 40 well-being centers. The long story short is we helped train all the students in LAUSD. But like we did a survey of stuff that we knew, and like people in school don't want to be lectured. They like don't care. Like if you bring them into an auditorium and you're like, put this thing on a board and you like talk about it, they just check out.
Yeah, they're just happy they're out of class.
They're like, I don't care. So you have to find different ways to collectively engage with people. And it's especially like if somebody is using, like if you, like everyone, even if you are an addict or not, the reason why you do drugs is because they're fun and they feel good. 90% of the time, that's how you get introduced to it, right? And so if you're coming at them against that, like you can't, it's a tough situation because you can't be pro-drug, but you also can't come in and be like, hey dude, this is like a terrible thing, because the problem is right now, it's somebody is using something this moment right now, and you have to communicate to them a bunch of stuff. So you can't go in there and lead with something that would immediately have them be defensive or deflect you, or you've missed the game. And too often times what happens is, we look at something and we moralize the issue. And that's kind of weird because like, if there was a house fire right now and you were inside and you were trapped, I want to go like, hey, how'd she start that fire?
Right.
I don't think it should be happening. You'd be like, holy shit, there's a fire going on. I'm going to get you out of there. And right now it's the same thing. You have all these people dying from drug overdose. You're not looking at it being like, I don't know, is that right or wrong, or what should we do, or like what? It's like, no, you got to like fix that right now. So it's kind of the same.
That's a great analogy. I haven't heard that one before.
So
it's so true.
Yeah.
You never think twice if you see somebody burning in a building. You just actively go and get them.
Yeah.
You do?
I mean, I definitely don't.
I would.
Would you?
Yeah, I have to.
Shane, okay.
I have no choice. Otherwise, you got to live with yourself the next day. It's fucked up.
Can you give Shane a like what he should do? He probably shouldn't just run in there with no kind of mask on.
No, you
He
run
seems
in
strong
low.
enough.
You run in low.
Yeah,
You run
that's
in-
true.
You run in, you stay low. You get a wet rag. You cover your mouth and face with a wet cloth. I do a little bit.
Yeah.
Is he on point?
Yeah, it's pretty on point.
Yeah,
Just
I go in there.
low.
I just stay low.
That's it.
Do the crawl.
Yeah.
Scream.
I do remember the stay low thing. That we were trained.
Where are you? Where are you? Scream.
That's it.
Backdraft.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Great movie. Dennis
Great
Quaid. Yeah,
movie.
he was the killer.
So what made
know.
you decide to go into paramedic and then ultimately I feel like your goal was fireman before even before, right?
Yeah. I just wanted to do something that was like physically active and that also had kind of like a medical touch to it. I think like, I mean, everyone here is fit. Everyone's got great biceps. Everyone's working out, right? So it's if I can do something in my day-to-day profession that encourages like using your body and being physical, and at the same time also expands your mind by being dynamic and having different things to do, and you get to be of service in that. it's a no-brainer.
It's
It is a
win-win.
no-brainer. It's pretty
Yeah.
good, but you see a lot, bro. You got to be mentally
Yeah.
fit. Also, we didn't really touch on that. I mean, you're touching on everything else,
Yeah.
but mentally fit because you're going into you're seeing stuff,
Oh yeah, you're seeing wild stuff.
wild stuff, like things that we can't really.
It's just you're seeing a bunch of stuff and you're seeing it all the time.
Yeah.
There's like no days off. Not every fire station and fire department is like that at all, but depending on what area you work in, the call volume and things that you go on, yeah, it's insane. Like when I worked as a paramedic in Riverside, I constantly went on child seizures.
Jesus.
And you're just having kids seize all the time and you're just like, ah. And then like the craziest thing about that profession is like the thoughts that you end up having.
That's the thing.
And so like the thoughts that you end up having are, oh man, you know, it's a lot easier to do CPR on a kid than it is an adult because they're smaller. And it's like, you know how that feels. And that's a crazy thing to think about.
Yeah.
And that's like a conversation that you're not having with normal people.
No, well, it's not a normal conversation.
It's insane. It's like an insane thing, but that's like all like paramedics, all firefighters, everything like that would be like, yeah, kid calls are much harder, but they're easier to manage.
Damn, I cracked a rib, but he's alive.
Yeah. You're like, okay, good. You know
what
what
I'm
I mean?
saying?
And like, or like, you know how, like, you get so used to being around dead people that you can just tell. Like, you can just tell. You can just, it's almost like a sense. Like, you just know what the, like, that looks like.
Jesus.
It's like so bizarre. And like, that's just like your day. And then like, you
So
guys
how do
go,
you deal with that? Does
Yeah.
it get to you? So say not even you. Let's not maybe not even. How about other guys? Like, do you see it with other people, and within your life? Like when you go home, how do you de-escalate that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really common in medicine. Like almost every medical profession gets some level of that because like if you're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're constantly dealing with this. And it's just burnout. There's like tons of things that go on that. And anyone can get it. It's just kind of faster. And like the first thing you have to do is be like, you're not immune. You're going to have it.
It's gonna happen.
So like one is obviously like physical care. The other one is like making sure you're talking about stuff, which is simple to do if you're like in a program because you're kind of trained to do that anyway. So for me, it's like already there. Like I see a therapist every week. I feel fine, but like I go because
Smart.
I have to do it.
For sure.
Smart.
And the city pays for it. So I'm like, hey dude, let's go. Like every
You're
week.
smart, bro.
I've also been in like recovery for 14 years.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
for me, I like don't take it for granted. I pay attention to it because what will happen is if you don't, which happens to a lot of people, is you just start to kind of like saturate in your own like feelings, and then you start just becoming a mean person. You get burnt out, and then you lash out to
Well,
everybody.
he's ahead of his
around you.
time. He's 33. He's got a great heart on his shoulders. You know what this reminds me of? You ever see that? There was this one movie where this guy, grade 12 or whatever, but a good-looking guy, and he had to go to summer school, and he brought a cot. He slept because he had a night job, and the and the teacher was saying, bro, like, what do you do? You're getting straight A's. What did you do? Yeah, I'm a stripper at night. You know what I mean? Just the guy at 19 had his, I don't know why it reminded me of this because
What?
that guy had his head on his shoulders. He was ahead of his time. This guy just seems like he's ahead of his time.
Shane, that was like a really, really terrible correlation.
Well,
I loved it.
And you didn't even say what movie it was.
You remind him of a male stripper.
Yeah.
At night.
That's
I forget the movie.
awesome.
I forget the movie.
Sentiment was there.
this.
But
This
the-
is
but the
exactly
teacher-
why we have Shane on
But
the
the
podcast.
teacher ended up going, damn that guy, son of a bitch. And he gave him straight A's and he let him bring the cot in the bed. He let him sleep because that guy was really, he had his head on and he knew where he was going.
Hell yeah.
You know, and that's what I'm feeling with this guy.
I'm confused as I don't get what that has
I don't know. It
anything
just
to do.
reminded me that this
Like,
guy, I'm
seriously.
thinking, damn this guy for getting it. I'm thinking, damn this guy for getting it at 19. Damn, you know, he you know what I'm saying? That's good for him. Like he could really be a leader and help people.
He is.
We'll
He
do
is.
a poll with our audience. Do you guys relate to what Shane is saying right now?
Or understand. Because I don't.
I felt it.
And
I feel like
Google search
at least
that
least
description,
one
yeah.
of our guests
are gonna get.
will totally be like, dude,
I totally.
I totally relate. There will be one.
Well, there
Shane.
will be one. Anyways, good for you, bro.
I mean,
it
I can
Good for you.
I can tell you, working in this industry for 22 years, I've never felt better than I feel now. And you know the crisis is, I can't even put a percentage. It's 100-fold from what I saw in my early days of, overdose, poisoning, death. And the insanity of the disease is worse. The stuff that we deal with on a daily basis is worse. But for me to be able to come up here and talk and just talk, and I have a crew and we talk and we're of service and we're trying to relay a message to the world that, help is available, that we need to come together to fight this fight, because it's nasty, man.
Nasty.
It's like not even a joke, and you can probably elaborate on that more, because I believe the first time we talked, you told us that you work up by one of the parks in LA.
Yeah, I recently transferred, but it was MacArthur Park. I was there for like 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And MacArthur Park is an interesting place because it's like Skid Row inside, right? It's like it's the most densely populated area in Los Angeles. It's like basically if the city of Glendale was like in 1.6 square miles, just in this space. And it, per like resource, it's the busiest. Skid Row, our Station 9 gets the most calls. It's the busiest by calls, but per resource, MacArthur Park Station 11 is the busiest. And it's wild. And it's like people are very, very sick. We would go on like 6 overdoses a day. And it's the Wild West. And it's better than it was in the 90s in some ways, I guess, because there's like less gang violence. There's like things there. But like the overdose crisis is definitely alive and well. And just, the healthcare down there in general is really bad. But yeah. And then right now, we've had more fires than we've ever had. So like during like that COVID time was wild. That was like overdoses insane, fire time insane. People were just lighting their buildings on fire for arson, for the insurance money. It was nonsense.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
That's insane.
We'd have massive commercial fires that would just happen immediately and be like, what the fuck is going on?
So 6 overdoses a day. How many of those didn't survive?
With us, they all survive. So that's because it's kind of it's messed up, right? Is because since you're in such a densely populated area, like somebody's going to see you overdosing. Someone's going to call 911. Someone's going to be driving by and see you, right? But the ones that didn't recover were the people that were like in these like high-rise buildings and like these luxury hotels or like in these really nice places because they were slower to contact. So what you would have is like there were so many times where I would go to like downtown LA. I'm not going to name the buildings, but like these luxury like suites that are right by like LA Live. We'd have like a 20-year-old girl. Her boyfriend wouldn't have woken up because they partied last night, and she'd be really scared, nervous to call. Tried to do like rescue breathing or something or CPR, and there'd be like a crushed up pill, and it would be like, okay, now this guy, we got him back, but he has like a brain injury because he went without oxygen. So it's like you're a vegetable for the rest of your life. Or didn't call, dead, right? And like that happens all of the time. And so it's like it affects everybody from all walks of life, and then it just affects people differently. The thing that's different now is like the drugs are just way stronger, right? The drugs are just much, much stronger than, even heroin or just regular Oxycontin, because like the main drug is like fentanyl. In 2016 it was like coming into like Xanax, and you have like more fake pills. Now it's like people are just doing smoking ERC 30s, or it's getting slipped into like cocaine and ketamine. Ketamine's come back pretty hard. So yeah.
Wow.
Which we all know that's what Matthew Perry died from.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the fentanyl crisis is absolutely insane, and that is why this podcast exists, because on 9/11 of 2022, my 21-year-old daughter found the love of her life, and my son-in-law dead from fentanyl. And God put this on my heart to jump in full force to fight this fentanyl crisis. It's out of control. It's not okay that 300 people die in America every single day. And I feel like those numbers are low. But even the fact that we just call it 300 people every day, that's a jumbo jet crashing. The people that you were talking about in those high rises, those aren't low life drug addicts that, we get a lot of, the hate that we get on our stuff is like, well, they're just drug addicts. Don't do drugs.
Oh yeah, I love that
That
comment.
comment is
The
like
don't do drugs comment.
Legendary.
Yeah.
Legendary. You solved it, bro.
yeah, totally.
Good job, dude.
Well done.
Nobody else thought of that.
Amazing.
Congratulations.
Just don't do drugs.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
That's
No.
not happening. So
But I like what you said because it's really important that people know also that best case scenario, you do die. Or at least for me, if I was still in my addiction, that's what would be the best case scenario, because you mentioned how because the time delay means lack of oxygen to the brain. So then now you're not dead per se, but now you're a vegetable. So now what you are is an absolute burden to the rest of your family because they have to take care of you because you cannot even function, eat, talk, do your normal daily lives that you were prior to taking that, whether it was a poisoned pill or even if you knew that it was fentanyl. And that's a big deal too. That doesn't really get, I don't see that narrative getting pushed as much. We try to do it because we do have moms and stuff that reach out to us to let us know about, their kids that's what happened to them, where they become vegetables. That's horrifying.
Yeah, it's definitely terrifying. I mean, the overdose deaths are huge. The overdose revivals and like symptoms and things that come along with it, there's a ton, right? So it's like you look at that death number, but you're not equating for all of the other things that are going along with that. You're also not looking at it as like how many families were affected by this, how many friends were affected like this. Like now, if you don't know someone directly that's overdosed, you know someone that knows someone.
For sure.
And that's like that's not a good thing.
that's not a good thing.
That's not a good thing. We don't want that.
Everybody in America is one person away.
Yeah.
And it's growing.
Yeah, it's
which is even crazier.
It actually went down for the first time this year. It's still super high. I think it went down by like 3,000 deaths, but like LA County is at like 3,600, which is insane for a year. And like those are going up. So like certain areas are getting better. Like Appalachia is not doing well. Like they're completely underfunded. There's still like tons of issues on like naloxone distribution. There's tons of issues on education. There's a lot of different problems. Sorry to be the demotivational speaker on this one.
No,
that's,
it's
I mean,
like
people
so
need
important.
to know the reality of what's going on. The Orange County Sheriff came on our podcast and he said that Orange County was down.
Orange County's doing a lot of good stuff. They bought like 170,000 doses of like naloxone. They're distributing it. I think we're getting like 85,000 to distribute to Orange County just by itself, which is an impressive amount. So there's a lot of stuff being done. There's a lot of different programs that are coming. I mean, obviously you guys are doing what you're doing. I think there's a lot of like good. There's a lot of things that can happen as well that would like really change things. It just depends on like what policies go through and then just socially what we decide to do. There's still a lot of obstinance in the way of providing certain levels of education, but I think we can get through it.
I do too. And I think that one of the big things is not making it where choosing to be sober or sobriety is like this drag or like your life is over, where if people are currently using sometimes, or at least that's what I thought at the beginning, thinking like, oh no, but it's like having all of us up here. And I mean, you're a firefighter, you're out literally saving lives. And from talking to you, you don't seem like a square. You seem like a really nice guy that's living a awesome life, where you couldn't say that 15 years ago. You weren't even adding to society. Now you are, and you like who you are. And that's, I think, what everybody I feel is searching for to some degree. That's why you do drugs in the first place, because you don't like who you are. You want that head change. And now you're able to do that and make a difference, but ultimately be able to look at yourself in the mirror as well. And I think that's huge. And then obviously making an impact amongst the younger generation as best as you possibly can with your organization. And how does that happen? Like, how many people are in the organization, and then how do you go to the schools or to whatever establishments?
Yeah, so right now we have like over 1,000 volunteers, and then like because we have a ton of different schools. A huge thing of what we do is like we just try and be as engaging as possible. So like right now you could go to endoverdose.net, you can take our online training. We'll send Naloxone directly to your house. And then through that online training, we have a bunch of like developed tools. Like one thing that we have is like you get experience points for taking training or answering a survey. And you also get like gold coins. So like it's kind of like a gamified thing. You get like these little coins that you could get like a free reward. And like, why would you do that? It's because it's like you need to have some level of incentivization, build some value in the education that you're providing, instead of just being like, yeah, it's good for you. It's like no one cares. They're like, why? It's like you have to add something to it. And then for essentially the volunteers that we have in like these chapters that are a huge program, is that it's peer-to-peer led. So like if like our UCLA chapter is run by students, those students are training and educating students.
Oh, wow.
They're doing a way better job than I ever will, because they understand the culture and they understand where the problems are and they know how to talk to the people there. So you'll do a lot better job of reaching people if you use the people that you're trying to reach to talk to the people that you're trying to talk to versus you, which kind of sucks, right?
Sure.
Because like a lot of people, you know, you want to have that feeling of going and being like, I'm the guy, but it's like, you're definitely not the guy. You know, 33-year-old Theo talking to college kids? Nah, dude. Yeah, put Tom that knows.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's better than 50-year-old Chad going and trying to talk to him.
Oh, dude.
That ain't happening.
The sweet muscles, they'd be like, holy crap. This man.
Although my son's friends think that I'm pretty cool, just because like they're like, oh dude, you know, because I have like worked out my whole life, right? And I think that kind of inspires them. But I was only able to work out my whole life because I found recovery, you know. I stumbled and had relapses along the way, but like my life has been the way.
Come on, all your daughter's friends think you're cute too. You're the good looking father.
No, that's my older daughters. But,
yeah, the older daughter.
Yeah,
that's
not my younger ones.
Well, no, that's
I'm just the old fucking.
You're
guy
just the old fart with that,
which I'm cool with.
Yeah,
like I'm cool with. Yeah. I'm cool being the older dad. I was a young dad. A myriad of kids that I've raised, from 30 down to my youngest is 15 now. You know, and so far so good. You know, I think for me being a parent, I worry a lot about the ones that, like, my son just got out of high school. He's on his way to college. And then my youngest isn't, you know, and they go out to parties and stuff. My youngest daughter doesn't drink or do drugs, but she sees it all the time, you know, and it's worrisome.
Yeah, I think that there's just like, again, like just having the peer model and like having people that like can identify. It's like, it doesn't mean that no one can, but it's when you have somebody, like if your friend's talking to you, you're just more receptive to it. For sure. You know what I mean? Like, and like just engaging with people all the time is like super important. Like we did a collaboration with Millennium. He's a big DJ.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah. And, you know, we constantly do things like with like Limp Bizkit. Like we just had West Portland did a bunch of stuff. Like millions of people saw it. We like make fun socials, and like that level of engagement is super, super crucial. You know, all the way from the fundraisers we're doing. Like we have one coming up in October. We have Brandon Novak coming out to speak.
Nice.
So like all of those different pieces are just like really valuable to like bringing people in to like the culture of like working with others.
No, it's huge. It hits different demographics, different ages, different groups, which is huge because whoever is in that specific culture is navigating towards that certain individual that they think is cool or that speaks their language more so than myself or us or yourself, like you saying, you know, going into, you're not that guy.
I feel like
Tom.
I feel like y'all could do it. Like you guys could set up a wrestling ring and like just go at it. I would come immediately.
Well, that's a different.
She's gonna win. If we did a wrestling ring and it was the three of us, I don't know how to wrestle. She even her husband says it hurts when she chopped him once, and he said never again.
Yeah.
Do you all do martial arts or anything?
I'll throw on a bathing suit, tights.
Do you do jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
So it's crazy. I always wanted to get into it, but then obviously I kind of missed you should really get into it when you're quite young.
No, you can get into it now.
But I feel like I would need like individual training because I will literally knock someone out if they like break my nose by just like being an idiot and trying to roll around. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
I get
like,
that.
I would
like
want
newbies, you don't want someone like just being crazy.
Yeah, like I would really want to take it dead seriously where I'd have one-on-one training with my instructor, so that way there's no like fuckery because I know shit can go down because it's a contact.
Yeah.
And things get hot.
Is there any other martial art where we don't have to roll around with another man? Because that's where I am like
just too uncomfortable.
No.
I mean, I watch my nephew and like, you know, dude's balls are in his face.
It's so different though. You know what I
It's
think
not.
it is because I feel like my brothers wrestled in high school. So when you watch that, it's uncomfortable because the singlet and weird. But when it comes to like jiu-jitsu, it's very different. And I think it's also, I'm reading this book right now. You guys, I keep talking about it, but it comes in handy for just survival.
Yeah.
Being able to maneuver not only your body, but being able to kill or be killed.
I think that it too, if you just have like 1 year of jiu-jitsu under you, you can beat the majority of people in this world.
It's a game changer.
Game changer for sure.
Game changer. Like
I'm doing
boxing is scary because like you don't want to get hit, but holy shit.
Totally, because the grappling, the ground, being able to be in a position that you feel like you're suffocating, but you can actually get out, that alone is a game changer. Because usually if you go into a certain type of position on a normal individual, you immediate fight or flight, or what is it? Fight or flight. Fight or flight kicks in, and you like panic and freak out, and then that's when you make mistakes, and that's how you die. So when you're in like doing and training, doesn't your son do it?
Yeah, I'm signing up.
I want to sign up too.
I'm signing up.
Wait, I want to do it, but you have to go to a good gym.
The thing is,
I got one at where I
see, the thing is he's going to try to get us all the way down to Irvine. I'm not going to Irvine to do jiu-jitsu. So we're here.
I need to call my boy Jocko and be like, hey, bro, do you have someone in between from San Diego and here?
No,
because
that's too
I would
far.
go to San Clemente.
San Clemente.
Isn't that close?
San Clemente's close.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should do it.
South
Great.
Orange
I'm
County.
surprised you don't do it. Yeah. Do 10th Planet. It's like
Oh my God.
Eddie Bravo. Yeah.
Yeah. Eddie Bravo's the shit.
There's a guy. What? Actually, the
Great.
guys that our buddy. Come on,
Where do you train at?
his fucking
over in
jerseys
Burbank.
right there.
You do?
On the
Jared's
wall.
gym.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
How long have you been doing it?
Yes.
Like 4 years. 4 years. But
Okay.
I switched over to 10th Planet, and then I was
Bobby.
hooked on it because it's like more practical. Because you're not wearing a gi in real life, and then those guys train like super soldiers.
Yeah.
So it's like super fun. It's
Yeah.
like you just get after it. It's like a full body workout.
No, for
every
sure.
single time.
I mean, it's.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
wanna
I
throw
enjoy.
up.
Yeah.
Bobby was really good at jiu-jitsu, and his sensei is like, if you saw the guy, you'd be like, Shane would be like, I could take that guy. Hell
But
no,
you
he
know what
couldn't.
no way.
This guy's like maybe like I don't know, he looks like maybe 170, like 5'11", 5'10", 5'11", and he's a black belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I like started jujitsu. I was selling mattresses, and this person like a long time ago, and this person was like, "Hey, do you want a free like jujitsu class?" I was like, "Sure, whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And this like little girl, maybe like 120, murdered me, strangled me. I thought I was gonna die, and I was like, "How the fuck did this person like defeat
Wow.
me?" And I was
A-
in.
a
I was
girl?
sold. Oh,
Barb.
100%.
Barb. That's like the
Straight
character. She
murdered me. I
Barb
was like,
gotcha.
oh my god!
And she
dude.
was just a-
Never
and she
again.
was just a-
She like
she was
snaked
just a-
around me.
she
and
was just a yellow
choked me
belt.
out. She's just a yellow belt. She's brand new.
What?
Getting a glare of hatred over her.
Dude.
I'm doing it, man. I'm signing up.
Yeah.
I am starting.
But you know what
I'm
it does?
making a commitment right here,
not
right fucking now.
necessarily also.
If you want to pick one in this area, that's fine. Otherwise, I'm going.
Okay, I'm gonna after we get off the podcast,
right,
I'm
that's
gonna
fine.
be looking up.
That's fine.
Okay, but you know what it also does? It instills all of the values the
Yes.
confidence within yourself that is
100%.
lacking in our
Yeah.
society today. We're lucky because we work a recovery program as well, so we are able to like tap into those certain things where other individuals like normies wouldn't work a 12-step program, right? So going in and having these structure, but also being able to be in control of your body, and it's like really centered in the like mind, body, soul. So you're not looking to fight someone, but you're not going to get bullied because you're walking around with your shoulders back. And then if a bully does step to you, you're going to be the one that's like, oh shit, did you see Shane yesterday?
And
He
you
took
don't have
out
to. You
Kevin.
don't have to worry about even throwing a blow.
No, that's what's nuts. It is. It's crazy.
You don't have to hit him.
No.
You don't have to.
Take him down, hold him, let him go.
How long, where are you in your, what belt?
Blue.
How,
The biggest grind. Blue is like 3 and up, but it's like I was blue in gi and then I switched. So then I like start over at blue.
wait, what do you mean? Okay.
Because like I started at one gym, so I was with Legacy, and then I moved over to 10th Planet, and it's like
So
a
you
different
start all,
system. And so like you're training with different people, which is fine. I mean,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
cares? Essentially,
Yeah,
it's
who
like
cares?
The training, it's like, dude, cool. Like,
it's
let's
not.
go.
So now you don't do gi?
No, I still do every now and then, but I like training no gi more. It's harder and it's also more practical. Like,
Yeah, you're not gonna have
really have
somebody's
someone wearing a
gi.
bathrobe.
Yeah.
You may have a collar, but it's like how many people in California are wearing long sleeve shirts all day?
No,
other
it's
than me?
so true.
Just,
it's
like,
so
not
true.
likely.
So he just rolls around with guys in spandex now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No
Shane, you get don't get all excited.
Have you seen
I got no fucking problem with that. You know that.
I know you don't.
have you seen Jocko's daughter?
No.
She is a savage.
Savage.
Like if someone's gonna get choked out, you're definitely getting choked out.
I'm
Like
doing it.
for sure.
I've made a mental commitment already. I'm done. I'm doing it 100%.
Okay, I'll do it with you
Okay.
because I don't want to go by myself.
Yeah, let's go. You pick.
But I don't want to go to a class. Like I don't want to do it with 20
Bro,
people.
we have to go.
I
to
need
a
private
class.
training.
No, here's the thing. You go to a class and you pair off one-on-one. You get a girl.
No,
That's it.
that's not gonna work for me.
That's actually how it works.
Yeah.
You don't
I want
just,
one-on-one.
you don't just
That is one-on-one.
No, not with a. I want my instructor.
You want to fight your instructor.
Yeah, I want him to teach me everything.
I don't think it works that way in the jiu-jitsu thing. It's you go against people that are a little bit better than you. You go
Yeah.
with people that are a
No,
little
Fight.
bit
I don't
less
trust.
than you.
I don't trust them. I don't trust them. Hubs.
So you get hurt every now and then. What's the big deal?
No, it's different.
I'd
It's
kick
totally
your ass.
different.
Fuck would I kick your ass?
Shane, you
God.
got nothing on me.
I'd elbow you by accident right in the jaw.
And
Oh,
then
I'm
if
sorry.
you guys want, there's 2 people here. My nephew,
He's
obviously.
fighting tonight.
Yeah.
July 8th.
Wait, what?
He's fighting tonight. He's getting paid.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Who?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
He works here.
Zach.
Yeah. And then
Wait,
Carly also trains at the same gym that
Really?
Zach trains at. Yeah.
Wow.
On Tuesday
wait,
nights.
Zach is your nephew?
Yeah.
Yeah. Candy's son.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
yeah.
How late-
Yeah, I know. But I was like,
Here we are off on tangent. And,
Yeah,
we
sorry.
got this amazing guest here.
Really amazing.
But you
He's
got
done
us
a
into
lot. He's-
jiu-jitsu.
no, but you got us talking about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Yeah. He's gonna. He's adding to our life.
Yeah.
He
added to our
he
life
brought
today.
value.
Yeah, you brought value today. Thank you.
I like the obstinance to spandex though that was going on here in the subtext. I'm just like, nah, bro. I'm out on all that. Keep me back, dude. We know how to defeat Chad really easy, dude. Just
Right.
put on
Wear
spandex and
spandex.
run at him, dude. Just try and capture him. Run up a wall.
I like
dude.
it. That's true.
It's just like,
Right.
nah.
Take off all your clothes and start chasing Chad.
Chase
Oh my
Chad.
God, that's
He'll run.
true.
Dude.
He's out of
That's
here.
funny.
Take his car keys. He'll be like, fuck, dude. I'm walking home, bro.
Wait, I have a question. At the firehouse, what's your schedule? You guys do like 3 on, 4
Ooh,
off?
It depends. Like you do one every other day. People usually work. Like the longest I've ever been up is like 6 days. Like if there's a brush fire, it's stupid. You'll want to throw up. Pretty common is like guys will do like 72s. So you just be there, and then your schedule.
Wait, you're sleep? You can sleep during.
Yeah, and that's cool if you're at a slow station because you'll sleep. If you're at a busy station, you definitely don't sleep, and you
Now
just
I'm
kind
going to
of
ask you a
hallucinate your
stupid
way
question.
around.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Is there narcotics involved?
No, have you seen the coffee cups at fire stations?
No.
They're massive. They're like this big. They're just like big cups, and you
They
drink
are.
coffee all day
Because
and all
nurses have a some nurses,
Yeah.
you're doing 18 hours, they do amphetamines, whether it's Adderall, legal Adderall, or
night. We're not nurses. Okay.
Have you noticed though, firemen or firewomen, like no one ever comes for them. Like they're the best. You never see them getting dragged or anything in.
Firemen were created so that cops could have a hero.
Damn, that's good. Yeah, it's true. Sorry, cops, if there's any around here. But yeah, I mean, people bring you cookies. It's not.
Yeah,
a
like
big
everyone
deal,
loves
you know?
it when you see a fireman. You're like, I mean, I always wave at like firemen or policemen or anybody that's in.
We took the cop. I mean, we wouldn't have taken cops. We took cookies to the firemen that put out the fire in my house.
Yeah. Oh, you had a fire at your house?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
My daughter's ceiling, the fan in the bathroom,
Yeah.
obviously it wasn't cleaned.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
the ducting. Yeah.
Caught a fire.
Caught a
in
fire.
there.
Did
Oh,
it light your
shit.
attic on fire?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's sick. I mean, it
It
sucks.
was funny though, because like, I'm sleeping and then I hear the fire alarm going off and I hear my daughter running down the hallway yelling there's a fire. And my son's down at that end of the house too. So I'm running down there. I woke him up and I get everybody downstairs and my wife is calling 911 and then I get everybody, make sure everybody's downstairs. I got the fire extinguisher. I ended up putting it out before they even got there. But it took 2 fire extinguishers because the first one was this spray one. Don't ever use the spray ones, people. Those ones suck. So I had the real fire extinguisher. It was the first time I ever used one too. It was cool as
exciting,
hell.
wasn't it?
Hell yeah, it was,
Pulling
dude. I
out the
pulled the
thing.
pin, put the hose up, and just.
Just got
That's
covered
awesome.
in like dust.
And I didn't know that was going to happen either because obviously
choking
I was
on it.
going
All
up.
that poison you were
It just rained down on
Yeah.
top of me.
It's just dust particles, basically. It's sodium bicarbonate. You just breathe it in.
Yep.
Yeah. Attic fires are pretty interesting, though, because they're like, you walk in and the house is totally clear because the fire's just in the attic. And then you have to cut a hole.
Oh my
and you
God,
have
that's-
to get in there. You have to like poke your head in there. And like, it's just like this room on fire and then like put out. It's cool. I mean, sorry about your house.
And then I go downstairs and my son's all, I crushed that fire drill. And I said, son, that wasn't a fire drill. That was a real fire.
Yeah.
This was
That wasn't a drill.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh, fuck. It's a good time.
Yep.
So then what can we do to help you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of the biggest things are obviously like spreading the word,
Yeah.
right? Like letting people know that we have like a free service. We do it all across the nation. Like we come to, treatment centers, schools, all these things and provide education. We also have an online training. So if you have someone that, needs it, they can just go online and take it. The other thing is like, support us through our like fundraisers, support us. If you want to make a donation, you go to endoverdose.net. You can make one there. We have a few fundraisers coming up. We actually have a free one. Where we're having Danny Trejo speak for an hour and like
Nice.
free music on September 20th. We have a link for that.
That's cool.
And then we have like a golf tournament coming up at Torrey Pines on October 4th and the 5th, where we'll have like Brandon Novak speaking and have a bunch of like cool giveaways. We
Yeah,
pull in a
that's
bunch of
nice.
people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Torrey Pines is a nice golf course. Too bad I don't know how to play golf. Do you?
I got clubs for you.
Yeah.
Do you know how to play?
got clubs
You used
for
to play.
I have clubs.
I don't know how to play.
I know how to play.
It's actually super hard.
Yeah.
I would be like the worst. Like, I know a par 4 is going to take me at least
7.
more than that.
No, 7 probably.
Me and you got 10.
7.
I was thinking 10 on a par 4. What does that
know.
make
I'll
it?
never- we'll try it.
If I'm over par by
It's like double
5 every time, what am I shooting at the end of a round?
out of control
We're gonna figure
bogeys.
5 times 18. That's over. So you got to go.
So I'm not going to be good.
So you're at least 5 times 18. 5 times 8 is yeah. You're
What would my handicap be?
Or
Oh God.
you're at like 96, not even counting the hole.
185 times 8 is 7,400.
Not even counting the holes. You're like at
You know what? Turn your fucking Siri off, dude. What?
Awesome.
What did she say it was?
You're like at 150. You're no bueno.
Yeah.
We want to be involved
Yeah.
more. We want to be involved in a higher level. We don't want to be involved with giving money. Not that
Sure.
we wouldn't, but we want to be involved with giving our time. We want to be involved with being involved with like this Danny Trejo guy
Yeah.
speaking, Brandon Novak speaking.
Yeah, we'd love for you guys to have like a booth at each one of our events coming
That's
up
what
and
that-
connect, or like doing collab social media.
That's-
We
Yeah.
have a ton of viewership
That's what I'm
that comes
talking about.
through.
That's
can
what
do
we
some
wanna
things
do.
at a bigger level.
Yes.
We're also making e-training. That
Yeah.
could be a fun way to collaborate on. some
100%. We want to be involved with all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Also, these you were mentioning some bigger names. You know,
stuff. Oh, like Alinea, Westmoreland, and all
yeah,
these different things.
Yeah, like we want to when they're
I used to
involved.
love Limp Bizkit. I just have
we
to.
want to be
They're still
involved.
going.
Are they
Yeah,
still
no,
going?
Still
yeah.
going.
Like, but
Yeah,
they don't have
yeah.
any new music, right?
Yeah, dude.
What?
Yeah, they're still getting after it, man. Yeah, they're new metal
Yeah,
gods.
yeah.
Still, the resurgence is there.
Anything we could do to
That's
bring
crazy.
attention to what you're doing and also be selfish about it and bring attention to what we're doing, so it's symbiotic.
Yeah, collab.
That's where we want to be involved in.
Symbiotic, Shane.
Is that a
Word.
word?
I don't.
Yeah,
That's a word.
yeah, absolutely.
It is.
No, it is. I just don't like second guess yourself.
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, dude,
No, I
symbiotic.
was saying that's a word.
Yeah.
I think.
No, but definitely like
Yeah.
collaboration where however we can be of use
Yeah.
would be huge.
Huge.
Yeah.
And we could put him in touch with a lot of people too, because there's a lot of grants. Like we know a lot of people where you could do an application for a grant to JED, and then there's the Goodness Web
Oh yeah.
giving away a lot of
yeah.
money. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
because he's making a difference in mental health, substance abuse
Totally.
with the youth at schools. So one is the Goodness Web. You got to look them up.
Okay.
And you fill out an application, and they'll see what you're doing in the community, and they might give you, you know,
Have you ever heard of a guy named Ivan Moody,
Sounds familiar.
or
Moody
the
sounds familiar.
the band Five Finger Death Punch?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, they just started following us this morning.
Let's
I thought
get
it was
'em.
pretty awesome.
That's crazy.
I always think it's awesome
Yeah.
when like people like
all of a sudden,
all of a sudden just start
Yeah.
following us.
it's nice.
You're like, wait, what's going on here?
Everyone's
Yeah.
looking for something, bro. They just got to find us.
Five Finger Death Punch.
But that's exactly what we're doing, you know, by being able to collaborate
Yeah.
with what you're doing and getting. It's all about just spreading the message, spreading the. There's so many, whether it's hope, or just the knowledge of how to use Narcan and what happens, what to do when somebody does
Yeah.
OD, like that. Those are all things that people at this day and age actually do need to know,
Yeah.
because it's not a if, it's when.
Yeah.
Like Chad was saying, it's like the
100%.
numbers I feel like aren't really true, because clearly we've noticed it through COVID and the CDC. I don't trust them because they lied through all of those types of numbers and continuously do. So even with the fentanyl ones, regardless of whether or not they're saying like, yeah, it's on the rise, or yeah, it's actually decreasing a little bit. I see it in my meetings that I go to. The women that I sponsor, their drug of choice is fentanyl, and they have overdoses amongst, she's 28 and lost 8 of her friends / acquaintances within the last year. So it's like spreading that knowledge and getting it where this isn't a joke, this isn't silly, this isn't this is life or death. And for people to have the knowledge of what to do in those types of situations is huge. So being able to collaborate with your organization, you with ours, and spread that hope, spread the knowledge of what is out there, what is available, and what to do with that is really, really important, especially right now.
What do you think the solution is?
I think the first thing that we have to do is we have to go off of low-hanging fruit, and then we have to make some decisions on kind of what we all commonly agree on, right? I think there's a huge problem with us right now in society where we don't do that. So like some simple things are, we can all agree on that people dying doesn't need to happen. So that's some low-hanging fruit that we can all agree on. There are things that we can do there, which is overdose prevention education. Okay. Second thing is that we can all agree on is if you're suffering and you want to stop, you should be able to. We should
Yeah.
help you out as much as possible. Other
Yep.
low-hanging one is bridges to recovery and treatment need to be absolutely there. And then we all get to decide collectively on like what are the things that we want to have stop. And then as long as we're all getting towards the right end goal, the how we can do it a bunch of different ways. But right now, everyone's still trying to figure out like what we need to do,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what we want.
Well, I know
Like,
there's a
it's
big
messy.
fight within the communities, in society, in the different communities. There's the full blown abstinence society, and then there's the harm reduction society, and they can't get along in many different areas. I just want people's voices to be heard, and I want solution. I think that for us as the Hopeaholics, we like to showcase that a sober life is a cool life, that it's fun and you can do amazing things. But I don't necessarily say that we like take any kind of stand. I mean, I'm more of an abstinence guy. I think that, then becomes to an individual thing with the Hopeaholics. We not really taking stands on stuff, but, especially like political type, craziness stuff. We do have opinions. But everybody has a right to an opinion.
Yeah, I think the big thing that we have to work on is you shouldn't have to figure out or learn about treatment when you're at the bottom.
Yeah.
You should know it way ahead of
100%.
time.
And
So,
it shouldn't
like,
be such a hassle to get into.
You shouldn't be learning all this information once you've lost everything and you've fallen off. And the
100%.
simple societal change that we can make is like, hey, dude, like before you start using, you understand the path and you understand all of the different pieces there.
Yep.
So that way you have an easier time at an off ramp. So you're not waiting to hit those bottoms. You can be like, you know what, this sucks.
Like, dude, I just lost a friend yesterday.
Yeah.
Fuck. You know what I need? It's crazy that to me though, that because I was introduced to recovery in 1996 through the judicial system, because that is where you went right back then. It's crazy to me to think that here we are in 2024, that everybody doesn't know that help is available.
Yeah. Why'd you have to wait for the judicial system?
Because I didn't know
what I mean?
in 1996 that there was any other way to live except for the way I had been living. I got addicted to crystal meth when I was 13 years old. Nobody had ever educated me any different. The only thing I knew about was Just Say No with Nancy Reagan. And I tried drugs after she had said Just Say No. And I was like, that old lady doesn't know what she's talking about. This is what's been missing from my life. I can all of a sudden study. I'm not hungry. I don't want to, because I was a chubby kid. I had all these internal issues before I ever even started using. And when I found meth and I did that first line of meth, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do forever. And, as we all know, that progressively gets worse and starts a cycle of addiction if not arrested before. And then once we get in past that line, like, we're done. Like, I'm done. We're done. Once you cross that line of being an addict, like, I can't go back to being a normal person. Not everybody that uses at a young age has that. They can all get to if you can stop somebody before they cross the line into being an addict, they may be able to live a amazing, normal, healthy life. They may even be able to have a glass of wine with their meal. But when you cross the line, like I've crossed the line, there is no turning back.
Yeah, but everybody has to give back to community. No matter what, whether you're that addict and you've crossed that line or whether you can have that drink. I think that the happy people or the people that are satisfied in life, that like what you're talking about,
Yeah.
and what we
Are helping.
Yes.
Service.
Service.
We're meant as human beings. That's what we're meant to do.
That's it.
We're meant to be of service to other human beings.
So even that
are
guy having
suffering.
the drink needs to be of service. Otherwise, he's just a miserable person having a drink every now and then.
Well, we get DMs from or comments or DMs from those miserable people.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
And I always wish them well. Like, man,
Yeah.
I wonder what's going on in your life that you're so miserable that
They're
you have
hurting.
to
They're in
have to
pain and they
comment
don't like
something
themselves.
negative
Yeah.
onto all the positive stuff
Yeah.
that we're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's crazy, but I don't even know what the point of what I was saying is.
I don't know, but it was
at
a
this
good talk.
But at least
I-
congratulations with everything, all your time,
Yeah.
where you are today, how you've been able to
30
take
chapters nationwide, 1,000 volunteers.
14
It's-
years of
it's
sobriety and
incredible.
actually putting in the footwork
Yeah,
of
bro.
service on
It's
not only
crazy.
your professional life but also within the communities. You
Yeah.
know, that's really huge, and that's probably why you continue to stay sober as well, is because it is like a consistent, constant daily reprieve, and you're reminded daily of how serious the disease can be.
Yeah.
So are we, and I'm fortunate for that because it's easy for us to forget. So
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a lot,
thanks
brother.
so much,
Appreciate it,
man. Appreciate you. Great podcast.
Yeah, great podcast.
Thanks, y'all.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
14 years. I'm